$12 billion. That is the size of the silver position JP Morgan is sitting on right now. And they cannot deliver it. Not tomorrow, not next month, not ever. Because the metal does not exist. For years, they told you the silver market was fine. They told you there was plenty of supply. They told you the price was fair. They lied. What just leaked from inside JP Morgan's commodity desk is not a rumor. It is not speculation. It is documented evidence that the largest bank in America has been running the biggest precious metals fraud in modern history. And when this unravels, it will not just destroy JP Morgan, it will detonate the entire paper silver market. The price you see on your screen right now is fake, and what I am about to show you proves it beyond any reasonable doubt. To understand why this matters to your wallet, you need to understand how the silver market actually works, because it does not work the way you think it does. Most people believe that when you see silver quoted at $31 per ounce, that means someone, somewhere, has a bar of silver and is willing to sell it for $31. That is a fairy tale. The silver market is a paper market. For every single ounce of physical silver that actually exists in a vault, there are over 250 paper claims on that same ounce. Read that again. 250 people think they own the same bar. It is a giant game of musical chairs. And when the music stops, 249 of those people are going to be left standing with nothing but a worthless piece of paper. JP Morgan sits at the center of this system. They are the largest trader of silver futures on the COMEX. The COMEX is the exchange where silver contracts are bought and sold. Think of it like the stock market, but for metals. Except unlike the stock market, you do not actually have to own the thing you are selling. You can sell silver you do not have. You can sell silver that does not exist. You can sell promises, and that is exactly what JP Morgan has been doing. For years, they have been selling paper silver into the market, massive amounts of it. Every time the price of silver starts to rise, JP Morgan dumps thousands of contracts into the market within seconds. We are talking 10,000 contracts in under a minute. Each contract represents 5,000 ounces. That is 50 million ounces of paper silver hitting the market in 60 seconds. That is not a trade. That is a weapon. It is designed to crash the price. It is designed to shake out small investors. It is designed to create the illusion that there is infinite supply. But there is not infinite supply. There is a shortage, a severe one. And the leaked documents prove it. Here is what just came out. An internal risk assessment memo from JP Morgan's commodity trading division was leaked to a financial journalist in London. That memo, dated March 2025, contains 3 numbers that should make your blood run cold. Number 1, JP Morgan currently holds short positions equivalent to 190 million ounces of silver on the COMEX. That is $12 billion worth at today's prices. Let me put that in perspective. The entire COMEX registered silver inventory, the metal that is actually available for delivery, is approximately 45 million ounces. JP Morgan has sold promises for 4 times more silver than the entire exchange can deliver. 4 times. Number 2, the memo states that JP Morgan's physical silver reserves available to cover these positions total just 28 million ounces. That means they are short 162 million ounces of silver that they do not have. That is a coverage ratio of 14.7%. In plain English, they can deliver roughly 1 out of every 7 ounces they have promised. If this were a bank, it would be the most undercapitalized bank in history. If this were a restaurant, it would be like taking reservations for 700 people in a room that seats 100. It is fraud. There is no other word for it. Number 3. And this is the one that changes everything. The memo explicitly warns senior management that if silver prices rise above $38 per ounce, the bank will face margin calls that it cannot meet without either buying physical silver on the open market, which would cause the price to spike further, or requesting an emergency settlement rule change from the COMEX. In other words, they need the exchange to change the rules to save them. They need the referee to rig the game, and the memo says they have already opened preliminary conversations with CME Group about exactly that. Let me say that again slowly so it sinks in. JP Morgan is so deep in the hole on silver that they are already talking to the exchange about changing the rules. They are planning for failure. They are preparing for a scenario where they cannot deliver the metal they promised. And they are asking the COMEX to let them pay cash instead of silver. That is called force majeure. That is the nuclear option. And the fact that they are already discussing it tells you everything you need to know about where this market is headed. Now you might be thinking, I do not trade silver futures. I do not own a silver mine. Why should I care what JP Morgan does on the COMEX? Because this is not just about silver. This is about the integrity of every market you participate in. If JP Morgan can sell 190 million ounces of silver that they do not have, what else are they selling that does not exist? If the COMEX can change the rules whenever a big bank gets in trouble, what are the rules even worth? If the price of silver is being artificially suppressed, what other prices are being manipulated? Your 401k, your retirement account, your savings, everything you own is priced based on the assumption that markets are fair. That supply and demand set the price. That when someone sells you something, they actually have it. JP Morgan just proved that assumption is wrong. But let me make it even more personal. Silver is not just a shiny metal. Silver is an industrial commodity. It is used in solar panels, in electric vehicles, in semiconductors, in medical devices, in 5G infrastructure. Every time you charge your phone, you are using silver. Every time you drive past a solar farm, you are looking at silver. Every time a doctor takes an X-ray, they are using silver. Global industrial demand for silver is approximately 680 million ounces per year. Global mine supply is about 820 million ounces. After industrial demand, investment demand, and jewelry, there is virtually no surplus. The market is in a structural deficit. The Silver Institute confirmed that 2024 was the fourth consecutive year of deficit. 4 years in a row, the world consumed more silver than it produced. And into this deficit market, JP Morgan is dumping paper contracts to suppress the price. They are telling the world there is plenty of silver when there is not. They are keeping the price artificially low while the physical metal disappears into Chinese warehouses, into solar panel factories, into military applications. When this paper game ends, and the leaked memo shows it is ending, the real price of silver will be multiples of what you see on your screen right now. The question is whether you will own any when that happens. This is not the first time JP Morgan has been caught manipulating the silver market. In 2020, JP Morgan paid $920 million to settle charges with the Department of Justice. That was the largest fine in CFTC history. The charges were for spoofing. Spoofing means placing fake orders to manipulate the price and then canceling them before they are filled. It is like putting a for sale sign on a house you do not own just to drive down your neighbor's property value. It is illegal. It is fraud. And JP Morgan did it thousands of times between 2008 and 2016. But here is the part that should make you furious. Nobody went to prison. Not one executive. Not one trader, not one manager. The bank paid a fine. The fine was less than 1/4's profit. It was a parking ticket. It was the cost of doing business. And they went right back to doing it. The leaked memo proves they never stopped. They just got smarter. Instead of spoofing, they shifted to a different strategy. They started using algo-driven suppression. Think of it like this. In the old days, a trader would manually place fake orders. That was clumsy. That left fingerprints. Now they use algorithms, computer programs that monitor the silver price 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The moment silver hits a resistance level, the algo activates. It dumps sell orders into the market. Not fake orders this time, real orders. But orders that are backed by silver that does not exist. They are selling air. They are selling promises. And because they are a primary dealer, because they have a direct line to the Federal Reserve, because they are too big to fail, nobody stops them. The CFTC, the regulator that is supposed to police this market, has an annual budget of $365 million. JP Morgan makes that in a single day. You cannot regulate a whale with a fishing rod. The system is designed to protect the banks, not you. So when does this break? The memo gives us a clue. $38 per ounce. That is the line in the sand. Above $38, JP Morgan's losses become unmanageable. Above $38, the margin calls start. Above $38, the whole house of cards begins to tremble. Silver is currently trading around $31. That means we are $7 away from the breaking point. $7. In a market that moved $4 in a single week last month. We could hit that trigger in days, not months. But here is what most people do not understand. The breaking point is not just about the price, it is about delivery demand. Every month, futures contracts expire on the COMEX. When they expire, the holder can either roll them forward, which means kicking the can down the road, or they can demand physical delivery. They can say, "Give me the actual metal." In normal times, less than 3% of contract holders demand delivery. They take the cash. They roll forward. They play the paper game. But these are not normal times. Central banks are buying gold and silver at record rates. Industrial users are hoarding because of supply chain fears. Retail investors who remember the squeeze of 2021 are demanding physical. And China, the world's largest silver consumer, is stockpiling like there is no tomorrow. If delivery demand increases from 3% to even 8%, the COMEX vaults will be emptied in a single delivery cycle. There will be nothing left, and JP Morgan's 190 million ounce short position will be exposed as the naked fraud it is. We are watching a slow-motion bank run on the silver market, and the leaked memo proves that JP Morgan knows it is coming. They are not preparing to deliver the metal. They are preparing to change the rules. They are preparing to settle in cash. They are preparing to tell you that your silver contract is worth dollars, not metal. And when that happens, the paper price and the physical price will split. There will be two markets: the fake market, where the price is whatever the algorithms say it is, and the real market, where an ounce of silver costs whatever the last person is willing to pay. And those two prices will diverge so far apart that it will shatter the illusion forever. So, what do you do with this information? You have three options. Option 1, you do nothing. You trust that JP Morgan is telling the truth. You trust that the COMEX has enough silver. You trust that the regulators will protect you. You trust the system, and you pray. But given that JP Morgan already paid $920 million for manipulating this exact market, trust might not be your best strategy right now. Option 2, you buy paper silver, you buy SLV, the silver ETF, you buy futures contracts, you trade the momentum, and you might make money in the short term. But understand what you are buying. You are buying a claim on metal that might not exist. You are buying a promise from the same institutions that the leaked memo shows cannot deliver. If the COMEX defaults, your paper is worth whatever they decide to give you, not what the silver is actually worth. Option 3, you buy physical silver, real metal, in your hands, stored in your safe, not in a bank vault you do not control. Now, I know what the biggest objection is. You might say, "John, I cannot afford gold. I cannot afford to buy bars of silver. I am living paycheck to paycheck." I hear you. So let me break this down practically. If you have $50, buy 2 1-ounce silver rounds from a reputable dealer. That is real money in your hands. That is insurance. If you have $500, buy a 10-ounce bar and a few rounds. Diversify the sizes. If you have $5,000, buy a 100-ounce bar and consider some fractional gold. A 1/4-ounce coin gives you gold exposure without needing $2,500 for a full ounce. If you have $50,000 or more, you should be talking to a metals specialist about allocated storage, mining equities, and physical diversification across multiple locations. The point is, you do not need to be rich to start. You need to start. Every single ounce you hold outside the banking system is an ounce that cannot be defaulted on, cannot be frozen, cannot be printed into worthlessness. JP Morgan's $12 billion silver position is a ticking time bomb. The leaked memo shows they know it. The question is whether you will act before it detonates or after. If you want to understand the exact timeline of when this breaks, there is one chart that tracks the COMEX registered inventory in real time. That chart has predicted every single silver squeeze in modern history. And right now, it is flashing the biggest warning signal I have ever seen. I break it down step by step in this video right here. Click it now, I will see you there.